Welcome, friends, to ClearUnited. In this presentation, we'll dive into the incredible level of value and the revolutionary solutions this company's tech can provide for you and those you love and care about as well. Now, before we get started and get this thing poppin', we'll start with just a few general housekeeping reminders. We first ask that you please put aside any and all potential distractions to give your full, undivided attention to the information presented. We also ask you reserve all questions for after the presentation is finished. And lastly, enjoy, guys. We're going to have an absolute blast of a time sharing this info with you all, and we want to thank you once more for setting aside your valuable time to tune in. And we guarantee you're going to get way more out of this than the time you spent with us today. Now, in this presentation, we're going to go over three main things. Number one, a thorough and necessary explanation behind the ways our privacy is being invaded through the tech we use and our personal data and information is being collected, misused, and sold to big tech companies, governments, and special interest groups from around the world. Number two, what kind of tech is now at our disposal that gives us the power to protect ourselves and those we love and care about from this kind of exploitation? And number three, for those of you ladies and gentlemen tuning in that value your liberty, privacy, and sovereignty, as well as the information you learned today enough to help us raise awareness surrounding the work ClearUnited is doing, you'll be happy to know that they are basically the first telecommunications company of their kind that reward their customers for doing so. And we'll break down exactly how towards the end of this presentation. Now, why ClearUnited, you may ask? Well, taking precious time out of your day to tune in to this presentation is so important because we all deeply care about the personal welfare of those we love as well as those in our community. And most people have no clue to the extent of which our privacy and data are being invaded, compromised, and stolen in this day and age. Now, here we have an image of a panopticon. You may be learning about what a panopticon is for the very first time today, but it's basically an extremely effective and covert infrastructure for monitoring prisoners without their knowledge, permission, and consent in jail. This, unfortunately, is one of the most perfect descriptions of the way our current government operates in collaboration with big tech, and how they use our tech to enslave us, violate our privacy, and infringe upon our human rights. And through this system, the few achieve control and oversight of the many. Now, how exactly do they do this? They do it via cloud servers, which are basically glorified government data storages and monitoring systems, where every bit of our info is saved. Emails, texts, conversations recorded over our devices even. And even if you deleted your data, your texts, your pictures, files, private documents, etc., all it has to do is pass through your phone by popping up on your phone screen. There are keylogging softwares that are used without our knowledge to track everything we type. And it's permanently saved on a cloud server that either Google, Apple, Microsoft, etc. owns. And there are anywhere between 200 to 300 people at a time, a bunch of strangers, frankly, that operate and have authority to access these cloud databases. iPhone users are affected even more so because their data is not only stored on a Google Cloud, their data is also stored on the iCloud. And those 200 to 300 people are also given access to their data. Now, by this point in the presentation, I'm sure I can speak for everyone on this webinar and confidently say we don't like the way big tech or the powers that be operate. We honestly just want to be left the hell alone, don't we? None of this is conspiracy theory either, ladies and gentlemen. This is simply the reality of current affairs. And the truth is that all of these things are happening and affecting us in real time. It's an unfortunate, corrupt system of things we have to deal with at present. But the good news is that there's never been a better time to wake up and realize we no longer need to put up with it. And that there's something we can all proactively do about it. Now, before we get to that, imagine with us for a moment that you've just called it a day. You've put on your favorite music to jam and wind down to and go to sleep if that's your thing. And 30 minutes later, you're sound asleep. But, oh no, as it turns out, unbeknownst to you, there's a robber coming into your home later on that night. And this is no ordinary sloppy robber breaking and entering. This is a highly trained, sophisticated level 5 straight up ninja when it comes to thievery. They've done everything to ensure you don't wake up and realize they're in your home, stealing your most precious assets. And if they're a real creep too, they might go through your personal photo albums and take pictures of those for themselves to keep as well. And now that they've successfully infiltrated and gone into your home, do you think a burglar of this caliber is going to stop at going after your jewelry, art, and other physical objects of value? What could be more valuable than those things? Haha, that's right. Your personal ID and banking info. They know they could make a killing off of that information. And if you're lucky, they'll sell it to a legit buyer, like a bank or advertising company. But if you're unlucky and he's smart about what he's doing, he'll sell it to someone on what is known as the dark web. Have any of you guys ever heard of this dark web before? Some of you tuning in may very well have, especially if you're tech savvy to some degree. Now, this information isn't intended to scare any of you. And most of you tuning in are more than likely aware of these things already anyway, but sometimes we need to get really shook to wake up to the reality of our circumstances, because we can't take action on what we don't know about or clearly understand. As they say, you don't know what you don't know. And this problem is so pervasive that any one of us right now, this second, could go onto the dark web and with $1.25 buy someone's credit/debit card info with expiration dates. For $2.25, you could buy someone's banking info. And for $3.50 and over, you could buy packages of comprehensive and disturbingly detailed summaries of an individual's card/banking information, credit score, their identity, their life. And these days, we can even use Bitcoin so our purchases remain anonymous. So it's easier than ever before to gain access to this information. None of this is exaggerated in the least, and bundles of this info are sold en masse to buyers online every single day. And people, left and right, have no clue or understanding as to how they got hacked or their identity got stolen. Well, this is exactly how, ladies and gentlemen. We hear about how big tech or credit reporting companies like Equifax routinely get hacked and millions of people's info get compromised. Well, with this knowledge we've just shared with you all, was it more likely that they were hacked, or did they sell all of that info in bulk at a nice premium to the right customer or customers under the table for a fat profit? If that isn't food for thought, guys, I don't know what is. Now, most of us on this webinar aren't scumbags, thank God. So we'd never do anything like this. But we unfortunately live in a world filled with individuals who don't have our best interests at heart. And that's not even the worst part, though. The worst part is we gave our info to them willingly. We agreed to the infamous terms and conditions given to us by big tech companies. Do we even ask ourselves why we need to sign the terms and conditions anyway? Like, sure, the terms of use are important, especially in the case you do something illegal using the device. The company won't be liable for it. But conditions, as in you can use this on the condition or conditions you do this and that? Very interesting, isn't it? When you think about it, the terms and conditions are the contract through which we sell our digital soul, quote unquote, to enjoy the services and products big tech provides us with. Your privacy is very important to us, quote unquote. The big print giveth, and the small print taketh away. In the small print, however, on page 10 or 15, in the middle of the page, it says something to the extent of, however, you give us permission to do this and this and that. We need to use your camera, know your specific location at all times, access to your microphone. We need to see your contact info, your files, etc. We're all asked for this information, but really, do 99% of these apps actually require these permissions to function as intended? Absolutely not. No. The true purpose of these apps are not really for our benefit or entertainment or to watch funny videos on YouTube. The true purpose of these apps is to collect our data, our personal information, which as of 2017 is more valuable than that of oil as an asset, and sell our data at an insane premium for a fat profit to them. How is that data valuable, you may ask? Well, think about it for a second. Your data is used to know where you live, what your interests are, and what your financial situation is to market and advertise things to you accordingly, as well as connect you to your banking institutions to access your funds, among other things. And it's immensely valuable information as a result. But Alex, what about my service provider? They protect that info that I've entrusted them with, right? Well, they're actually the very ones that sell your data. And believe it or not, make even more money with it that, again, belongs to you, by the way, in the same way any other asset of value belongs to you, than they're making with the purchase of your phone and your phone plan. Well, Alex, come on, man. This is all so nuts. I'm lost. How the heck does all this actually work? Well, no worries, guys. We'll go over exactly how in just a moment. For example, I'm going to hop online and shop for a car. I want a 4-door Honda or a 4-door Toyota. Now, by the third click, your query gets picked up by one of Google's, Microsoft's, Facebook's, Bing's, or other entities' algorithms for collecting info. And now that you've clicked, they're paying attention, very close attention. So close, in fact, they're recording everything you're doing from then on. What page you went to, how long you stayed on that page, what you clicked and typed in on that page, literally logging each and every keystroke you make. They especially love when you go to the Making My Car page, because then you get way more detailed with the color of the car and everything else detail-wise. But hey, you're good, right? Because you're not at a dealership. You're chilling in the privacy of your home, looking through these things on your device. Well, not really, because those entities that have been paying close attention to you are now going to sell that info to Toyota or Honda at a very good price. With this info, they can check to see which car you can actually afford. They'll see who your insurance is with and how much you're paying for it. They'll even check your health records to check and see, is this person going to be around long enough to make the monthly payments on this vehicle? Then they'll have a look at your credit score. And they won't stop there. They'll now go after info on your kids, if you have any, to see if you have a son or daughter above the age of 16 taking driver's ed in need of a car they can advertise to. All of this info is one big package that is compiled without your permission or consent and is then sold to Honda or Toyota to best sell and market not only their products and services, but the products and services of their partner companies and even competition to you as well. This is insanely valuable, very private information that you didn't give anyone permission to collect. Or so you think, when you actually did, through your cell phone and the apps on it that serve as low-key data collection devices. Guys, if you could see your file, quote unquote, on all of the information that these companies, corporations, and special interest groups have saved on you, would you even want to take a look at it? Probably not, because if you did, you'd be in complete shock. Why should we allow this ever? It's not okay in the least, and a complete violation of our privacy and human rights. So what do we do about it? That's the question at hand. And with these issues being such prolific and massive problems in scope to deal with, is there even a real solution for them today on the market that we can use right now to start better protecting ourselves and those we care about? Well, what if a group of people more than 12 years ago asked these same questions and said, what if we gave people technology and devices that respect their privacy, allow them to keep their own data to monetize it for themselves as opposed to being robbed of it without their consent and reclaim their sovereignty? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to ClearUnited. Their vision reads, ClearUnited's core mission is to empower everyone, everywhere, with the technology to free ourselves from big tech companies by arming individuals and families with personal control over their privacy, protecting children's online safety, owning our digital identity, and securing our data. We believe in digital freedom, liberty, and choice. ClearUnited donates 100% of its profits to worldwide charities that align with ClearUnited's core mission. This company was founded by Michael Proper, the gentleman you see on screen right now. He got his start with the advent of major tech advancements in the early 90s, and Michael found his why. His why for embarking on his journey as a pioneer in the tech industry has been to explore the many ways in which he and his team could create an ecosystem and business model that would essentially combine decentralized hardware, software, and services that truly empower people around the world to free themselves from spiritual, financial, emotional harm, and in the process, build the largest nonprofit organization on the planet as a result. Having served since 1994 as distributors of top-tier tech products and services from around the world, the people at Clear have helped play key roles in building the infrastructures for successful companies and titans in the tech industry, such as HP, Intel, Microsoft, IBM, and so on. And with success after success in his long career as chairman of the Clear Foundation, Michael and his team at Clear are wealthy enough on their own and have made it a nonprofit organization, as stated before. And so they set it up to where 40% of Clear revenue goes to research and development for product creation. Another 40% is given back to their community of customers who choose to refer and promote their products to others. And 20% goes to charity. They don't keep a dime for themselves, ladies and gentlemen. And the reason for this is because for them, as stated before, this project is about way more than money. It's about giving people a real opportunity to take even more of their life back in every way on every level, and ultimately helping humanity transition from centralized systems of enslavement, limitation, and frustration to decentralized systems that give us back the power we need to reclaim our sovereignty and prosperity from those that have taken so much of it from under our noses. Our world is changing for the better, guys. And this next clip shows how people from all over the world are coming together through the power of indigenous technologies to do just that.
Mitakiepi, my very, very beloved relatives of our human family. We live in a corrupt global system.
But are we a part of it?
Are we part of it?
Are we part of it?
No.
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 We've been very patient as the few control resources we all need. The question is, can we change it?
We've all heard the voices shouting, "It's not your turn."
Our heart aches to do more, to be more. But time is running out.
Time is running out.
Time is running out.
We start by completely trusting we can make a difference. Because with one heart and one mind and many bodies, in unity, we can do anything.
Together we must take unprecedented, unified action.
And transform the world around us.
No matter how challenging that may be.
Individual sovereignty, freedom, love, and justice.
Unite us all.
Because there are indigenous-led technologies coming.
That gives us all the opportunity to stand,
To give, to love.
That's what responsible technology should do.
If you are one of those who believe it's your turn,
stand together.
Rise up.
everyone.
Everywhere.
You are the rising generation.
Wow, guys, that was such a powerful video, wasn't it? I mean, that's exactly the spirit and mentality we need to inspire real change for the better in our world. And if Clear is going to be successful in helping us make this tech transition, it has to take it one step at a time and be done in phases. This is the timeline for all of the things that Clear are working on and look forward to releasing in the not too distant future. And we'll be happy to break it all down another time for those interested in learning even more. But for now, it all really starts with helping us decentralize our means of communication. because that's really one of the major keys locking us to this old paradigm. And to this end, ladies and gentlemen, we present to you the ClearPhone, the smartphone for the smart person. Why? Because being the first ever of its kind, it's a decentralized phone with all of the features of a top-of-the-line smartphone on the market today, with none of the privacy and security issues mentioned previously that are purposefully built into other phones and their service provider contracts by design for all of the reasons we stated previously. Here, we have on display the 220, 420, and 620 models. The 220 is the entry-level model, basically, good for younger kids and grandparents who don't really have a need for crazy storage space, 4K UHD camera, and so on. Next is the 420 here in the middle, which is essentially the competitive model to phones like the iPhone 13, Samsung Galaxy, Note, etc., when it comes to its hardware, camera, and storage space. Then we have ClearUnited's flagship phone, the 620. Guys, this thing is a titan of a device and so freaking fire. It's got a 7.12-inch screen, making it the largest screen on the market to date, with a 16 megapixel camera on the front and a 48 megapixel camera on the back, which combined with the software makes it a 108 megapixel camera. That easily beats a top-of-the-line Samsung all day, any day of the week. If you're a techie, you'll know that for a fact. Also, each phone is equipped with two SD card slots, meaning you could use your current network provider and Clear's network simultaneously, or have one phone number and add a secondary SD memory chip to have like a terabyte of storage space if you wanted. And these phones work on all GSM networks, so it doesn't matter what country you're in, these phones will function internationally. So hardware-wise, these phones will compete easily with everything on the market. And for those of you who love tech and like to keep up with the latest tech stuff, we'll be more than happy to hear that Clear comes out with new products every 2 years or so. So they're always keeping their tech the absolute best and top of the line. And while all of this is well and good, these things aren't really what makes these phones valuable, guys. What makes them valuable, the reason you choose these phones in the first place, is so that you never again have to worry about what they are potentially doing to you, and instead enjoy what these phones are doing for you to protect yourself, your kids, and those you love. This is the end of the data problem phone, the end of the identity theft problem phone, the end of the annoying scam calls phone, the keep your kids safe phone. You buy it for the privacy, security, and ownership of your data. But Alex, how exactly does this phone do all this anyway? Well, hang in there with us, and we'll break all this down for you real quick. Let's begin with the typical phone buying experience, because Clear is revolutionizing and simplifying this process as well. You walk into an AT&T, per se, or are ordering your phone online, about to buy a phone. What's the first thing they're going to do? Set up an account, of course. And what do they ask for? Your name, your email address, your home address first. And that's not too crazy to ask for, and is in fact necessary in order to know where to ship your phone, especially if you're ordering online. That just makes sense. But here's where it starts to get a bit sketchy. They then ask you for stuff like your social and your driver's license. Okay. And then they ask for that same information on anyone else attached to that account, namely your spouse and your children if you have any. Why? Because you, my friends, are being registered, quote unquote. That phone or phones you're buying are being registered to you and your family. Registered to a legal identity that the government and big tech have, so that everything you do on those devices from that moment onward are able to be tracked and traced back to you, to monitor you. Not that you would do anything wrong, of course, but we're talking about your privacy here. Now, you might say, well, Alex, that being the case, it really doesn't matter to me because I've got nothing to hide in the first place. And to that I'd say, Okay, gotcha. May I take a look at your phone right quick? You might say, sure, why not? Go ahead. Well, what if I then ask you, okay, so now that I've got your phone, while we're at it, why don't you give me your password so I can go into your emails and find out your banking info along with your private messages, so I can also catch up on the latest drama between you and your significant other as well. Dude, you wouldn't even let me finish that sentence and snatch your phone out my hand so fast, it's not funny. You'd ask me what the heck I'm smoking, because I've got to be out of my mind asking for that. Well, I mean, I'd wonder what the big deal is to you, because I thought you had nothing to hide, right? Privacy, it just isn't in the least important to you. Nonsense. Of course it is. That's why you buy this phone, ladies and gentlemen, because you understand what it does and how it protects you. So when you buy your phones from Apple or AT&T, they're registered to you and your family. When you buy your ClearPhone, however, it's registered to no one. That's right, no one. They don't ask for your social, your driver's license, or any other irrelevant piece of information. All they ask for is a full name and a shipping address. It could be a P.O. box even. Now, why wouldn't they ask for all that other information? Well, because that would defeat the entire purpose and violate the basic principle of why you're choosing this phone in the first place. So, who or what is this phone registered to then? Well, when you open the box your ClearPhone comes in and begin the process of setting up your phone, you're going to see a screen that shows you a unique 12-word master key encrypting this phone, which you'll write down on a piece of paper insert included in the box, making your phone and data bulletproof security-wise and unique to you. This is the same blockchain technology used to make a crypto wallet for Bitcoin, Ethereum, etc., accessible only to the person who created that wallet, except that same tech is also applied to these phones. So who owns the phone? Essentially, only that random individual who owns that unique 12-word master key. Only they can get into this phone, and absolutely no one else. Now, what exactly is the concept of decentralization, and how does this phone use blockchain tech to improve our life? The following short clip will break down exactly how, guys.
Technology has changed our world, and the future our children will inherit. But with every convenience, we give up a bit of our privacy. The root of the problem is not technology itself, but rather centralized control of the technology we use every day.
Companies like to say, we collect data so that we can improve our service. And that's true. They collect data, and some of it is used to improve the service to you. But even more of it is analyzed to train what they call models, patterns of human behavior. So once I have big training models, I can see how people with these characteristics typically behave over time. And that allows me to fit your data right into that arc and to predict what you're likely to do, not only now, but soon and later.
What if we decentralized our digital lives? That means our data would be stored in several places, and everything we do, from managing our own healthcare, finances, even everyday activities like shopping and sharing, are under our control. That's what decentralized means, taking the control away from a few big companies and giving it back to the individual.
Our data should belong to us.
I'm a huge proponent that your data is your data. That's where I start from.
Companies conveniently, in the absence of any organized system to say otherwise, say that they own the data. They collected it because you use this app or this device or this platform.
People will start thinking, well, hang on a minute, what am I worth to you? And is that worth what you're giving me in return?
Decentralized systems allow the benefits of capitalism to reach into every corner. It's the difference between the abundance mindset of decentralization and the scarcity mindset of centralization.
We need the media and civil society organizations to sort of step in and insist that somebody start protecting our privacy and our data, because right now it's not happening.
Humanity fundamentally is a lot stronger than digital media, and will start to reassert itself over it, and will contextualize itself accordingly.
We are beginning a time of abundance. If we empower the citizenry with the proper tools, respect their privacy, and give them the choice to be part of the solution, fear will dissipate and opportunity will grow exponentially for all.
All right, guys. Now that we know exactly how decentralization works to our highest benefit, we also clearly understand that even ClearUnited does not have and does not keep any records, a cloud, or centralized databases of these keys. So if big tech, the government, or some disgruntled and snoopy neighbor were to go to Clear and ask for Billy Bob's records and location, they wouldn't have that information. They'd have no idea which Billy you're talking about, what phone he has, and they certainly wouldn't know the master key. But, oh, hold up. Nah, we really need that information. We're the government, and this is a matter of national security, yada yada, and all that nonsense. Sorry, there simply are no records to give you. Well, what about the data stored on the cloud? There is no cloud, sir. What? What you mean? How does that even work? Well, it works like this. If you break a piece of glass into 1,000 tiny little pieces, you'd call each of those pieces shards of glass. If I took your social security number, for instance, and broke that information into 1,000 little shards and sent each piece of that data individually to different parts of the world, no one anywhere would have access to that. It's totally safe. And if I could recall it only with that secure master key encryption, that information is now put back together for my eyes only. This is what is called sharding. One of the most disruptive innovations in cybersecurity solutions to date through blockchain tech. It's just the coolest thing, for real. And all this means is that all those little shards of your private info resides in, say, 6,423,000 plus different computers in 100 different places from around the world. No one on earth has the power to recall that info in full, except you with that 12-word master key. You, and only you, have the ability to do so. Clear, the government, big tech, etc. do not have that ability. If anyone came looking for your info, your location, your data, they'd be completely out of luck. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the purpose of this phone and why it is so revolutionary and groundbreaking. And so when you get this phone, it's not registered to you. And there's no record whatsoever of anything being entered into the phone. No cloud or database kept of what goes through this phone. Now, let me be clear, though. No pun intended, of course. When it comes to apps like Facebook and browsers like Google Chrome, those are public, and they can track where you are or where you're going. But with a software called ClearGM, for General Manager, it acts like a fence around those apps so they can't go data mining through your phone with those data mining algorithms. And, back when I was using my iPhone, for example, Samantha and I once talked over the phone, and I texted her pictures of a few watches I was interested in buying. Because anyone that knows me knows I personally love jewelry, style, swag, classy clothing, and all that jazz. And a couple of hours later, I get on Facebook to check my feed, and I see ads for different watch, jewelry, and clothing companies when I wasn't seeing them at all before. Like, dude, That's just weird to me. I'm personally not a fan of that at all, and think that's insanely sketchy, especially in today's day and age with all the crazy things going on. So, yeah, the chances, the very high chances of someone listening in on my conversations and reading my personal text messages is going to be a hard pass for me. So, like we mentioned before, the phones available are the 220, 420, and 620. They all support wireless charging, have incredibly fast processors, and easily compete with the hardware of other smartphones on the market all day long. And with the subscription model, they're $50, $100, or $150 per month, and that includes all of your talk, text, and unlimited data, of course. If you want to buy the phones outright and use your current service provider, you can do that also. They ship with a rapid charger, high-quality earphones, and a protective case. Yeah, you heard that right. A free protective case and screen protector. When was the last time you bought a phone and they came with those at no additional cost? I mean, they're not made of vibranium or anything like that, for those of you who love and have seen Marvel movies, but they do a great job of protecting your phone overall. They'll get the job done. These phones come with their own built-in exclusive apps as well. For example, like the ClearCare Support app for customer service and troubleshooting within minutes. The ClearID app, which protects your identity and login information for all of your accounts, and along with the other apps shown here that form a part of the Clear ecosystem, which includes ClearPay, which is basically a built-in wallet and pay portal. Now, why is that? What for, you may ask? Well, these phones are becoming so popular that through the company's market research, they learned that each person that buys a phone will typically have around at least 3 referrals or more. They have that wallet built in the phone because, check this out, that's how you're going to be rewarded for those 3 referrals. That's right. That's how you're going to get paid for referring the ClearPhone to other people. Ladies and gentlemen, you don't just have a secure phone here. If you want, you've got a business in a box. I mean, that's nuts, guys. Personally, when we first heard about ClearUnited and the amazing work they were doing through their tech, we were already sold on buying a phone for ourselves, and we were going to talk about them anyway to whoever asked what kind of phone was in our hands that they'd never seen before. But to then learn that we could create another real stream of income from simply spreading awareness of these phones, that blew our minds into another galaxy. I mean, I personally don't recall the last time Apple sent me a check, if ever, for referring someone to them. They sent me a bill, that's for sure, but not a check for helping them grow their brand. Really, when you think of how many people are out of work right now due to being laid off because of this pandemic, or losing their jobs because they were being forced to undergo medical or pharmaceutical procedures that went against their health wishes, something like this would help so many people in these kinds of positions. And it's such a simple side income to start creating, because one of the greatest difficulties when representing a product in the peer-to-peer network or affiliate marketing space is finding a quality premium product that is exclusive. Yes, everyone has a special version of their lotion and potion, skincare / beauty or health products, and they're all fine and dandy. But when was the last time something came out that sparked a paradigm shift in a brand new market area? It's an entirely brand new market for influencers or network marketers, and no one has to leave what they're doing for one company or another, because this is totally revolutionary and the first of its kind in a brand new market that isn't a niche market at all. Everyone that forms a part of society has and needs a smartphone. It's the most no-brainer product to help people buy of all time. And think about it like this. No selling is required. I repeat, no selling is required. I mean that seriously. How much effort does it really take to talk about a phone? Just about everyone knows what a smartphone is and has one. And more people are becoming aware of how invasive phones are anyway when it comes to our privacy, thanks to movies and documentaries based on whistleblowers like Edward Snowden and Julian Assange that are teaching people about this kind of stuff. So the market is primed and ready to explode and learn about the existence of this company, its products, and the work that they are doing, with or without us. And so with this opportunity, most of all, we truly get our life back. Our cell phones are the most dangerous things we possess and are a major key locking us all in this old paradigm of centralized control, authority, and monitoring. And from the ugly look of the current state of things, frankly, tyranny. They're the most utilized thing we have as well, of all our possessions. We use them so much, we're like literal cyborgs. I mean, when heading out, it's inconvenient, but you can afford to forget your wallet. You can afford to forget just about anything else, really, but you can't afford to forget your phone. Can you? And if you did, be honest. How fast did you turn around to go back and pick up your phone? Really, why didn't you go about your day without it? You did because it's not just the phone itself you went back for. At the gut level, you're not even remotely comfortable in the slightest with the thought of someone having access to what is on that phone. That, ladies and gentlemen, is what you're most worried about. And for those of you that own crypto, especially so. Whether you like to hear this or not, the reality is that decentralized assets and software on a centralized piece of hardware is still susceptible to being seized and theft by the government or hackers. It's not our fault. We've had to make do and take the risks necessary with our investments because we've had no other alternative outside of ledgers and the like, which aren't totally practical, really, at least up until now, that is. We no longer need to worry about these kinds of things. The future is here, guys, and these kinds of concerns do not need to stress us or take up mental real estate in our minds any longer. As opposed to worrying about what our phones are doing to potentially harm us, we can now be grateful for the variety of ways our phones are serving us, protecting us, and keeping us and those we love safe. Now, for those serious about serving their community and raising awareness around ClearUnited, we recommend buying their best product, the 620. Why? Because trying to describe the quality experience of this phone when you don't have it yourself is kind of like trying to describe the mechanics and beauty of space to someone when you've never ever studied astrophysics. Sure, it's possible, but you probably won't do it any justice at all whatsoever. However, if you have it in your hands, you can personally show them just how buttery smooth, sleek, and sexy looking this phone is. It's gorgeous, and people love the look, the design of it, as well as the comfortable feel of the weight of it in their hand. You just can't really describe or convey any of that in real time if you don't have it for yourself. And if you've noticed, over the last few generations of phones, they're getting bigger, not smaller. And the 620 is the current record holder for size in the market to date. And if someone says, okay, no thanks, that's just too big for my taste, you can say, oh, well, here's the 420 and 220, which are about the same size as your standard phone, your standard iPhone, excuse me. And generally speaking, It's just much easier to size down than to size up when you're bringing up the phones. So we can keep that in mind as well. Now, the cool thing here is we don't just have a phone. We've got an entirely new ballgame, guys. Again, none of this involves selling or sales tactics in the least. We're simply helping to raise awareness through educating those around us on the existence of this new technology to better improve our quality of life and essentially transform the lives of those around us overall. Very few products on the market can truly deliver on that previous statement. Everyone can get healthier or improve their mindset or their finances through a wide variety of different means, brands, and tools, as well as services that do so, and may do so very well. But there is only one company out here that is providing the solutions to the world that we've discussed throughout this webinar on this grand a scale. And the world needs this kind of technology and ecosystem of services now more than ever before, especially considering the direction the world has been heading in. And unfortunately, will continue to head in unless, of course, we do something about it and take action. We hope for the best and hope things change, of course, but hoping just isn't good enough. It never has been. We need to take personal, real action towards making this world a better place, becoming the change we want to see in it, and not depending on others to do so for us. That's really what we are all here to do in the first place, right? To accomplish doing so successfully when it's all said and done in one way or another. And ClearUnited is giving us one of the most powerful opportunities to do so. Now, correct me if I'm wrong here. The holy grail of peer-to-peer or affiliate marketing is leveraged or passive income and customer retention. In other words, 1, when you get paid, whether you did the work yourself or someone else did, and number 2, the length of time you keep your customers. Well, people in network marketing typically experience customers keeping their auto ships going for maybe 4 months or so. At least, that's the industry average when it comes to customer retention. Now, question for you. When was the last time you heard someone say, you know what? I'm sick of my phone. I don't want it anymore. And just quit paying for their phone cold turkey? That doesn't happen. I mean, unless they're a rare individual living or going to live completely off-grid on a farm somewhere and is skeptical about phones tracking them, which will then change their mind when you tell them about the ClearPhone, of course, anyway. The fact is, a vast majority of people typically stick with their network providers for 10 plus years minimum. I mean, if that's not the diamond mine, the holy grail of network marketing, we don't know what is. Seriously. But it gets better. If you're not fired up yet, you will be after checking this out. And before we do, keep this in mind, friends. Our influence, like drops of water on a pond, have the power to cause positive ripple effects more profound than we could ever possibly imagine. Now, with that clearly in mind, if you take a look at the graph here, you can see that the number of people you help buy ClearPHONES for form what is called a circle of influence, as in a drop in a pond that makes a positive ripple effect in the world directly from you are in your first circle. The people who buy from them are in your second circle, and so on. So in your first circle of influence, you're going to get 10% of all revenue paid to you for the life of that phone's contract. So if their contract is $100, you're getting $10 a month residually for every single person that you refer a phone to. Now, when they go out and tell their mom, their brother, their friend, etc., you're now also going to make an additional 10% off of their contracts as well. So now you're up to $40 a month residually, and you've barely done anything. So if there's 10 people, bam, your phone is now free from then on. And then on your third and fourth circle, you're going to get 5% of all revenue. And then on your fifth, sixth, and seventh circles, you're going to get 1%. And before we continue with the next point, when have you ever had a phone where if you refer it to others, you get paid residually and your phone essentially becomes free? That is just unheard of, guys. Now, in regards to the fifth, sixth, and seventh circles giving you commission rewards of 1%, that may not sound like much, but hear me out. 1% of circles 5, 6, and 7. Why does that matter? Well, maybe I'm just someone that doesn't know too many people or has a massive network like that, and I'm just not all that big on putting myself out there all that much. Or so I think. I simply begin signing up a couple people here and there. Those guys find Buster Baxter, and Buster Baxter finds Billy Bob, and Billy Bob just so happens to stumble upon an absolute Godzilla level influencer. Maybe it's someone, who's a professional, top tier marketer, or maybe it's a titan in the privacy and cybersecurity industry like Brittany Kaiser, who makes a documentary by the name The Great Hack, which you can check out on Netflix, and is set to go on Joe Rogan's podcast to discuss the need for privacy and security in today's day and age in the near future. Maybe she signs on 10 to 20,000 customers in her first circle, just like that. But she's somewhere in my seventh circle. Well, last time I checked, 1% of $1,000 is $1. So doing the math, that means that on 20,000 phones, that's $20,000 a month for you not doing anything for the life of those contracts. Which, like we said, people don't typically quit their service providers for 10 plus years. How would you feel if someone 6 people away from you went on Joe Rogan or some major platform and sold a ton of phones, made you a ton of money, even though you've never heard of them until you met them in person for the first time, to thank them for that? That's wild. Seriously, the power of depth in this rewards plan structure is crazy. And like Billy Mays of the OxyClean commercials used to say, if you remember, that's not all, folks. The rewards plan is made even better with the power of what is called the global pool bonus that starts only after 3 customers, by the way, gives you up to 7% of the entire company's global revenue. Oh yeah, you heard that right, ladies and gentlemen. That's freaking amazing. There's really no other way to put it. Full stop, straight up. And this is exactly what has had us and whoever invited you to this presentation so fired up. Unlike pretty much any major network marketing company out here right now, there's no hidden extra fees, rep business fee, monthly website fee, no portal fee, no volume you need to maintain to earn a certain level of income per month. It's all based simply off of team accumulative sales. Meaning, if you sold 1 phone and that person sold 2,500 phones, you still remain at the top of this rewards plan structure. You help raise awareness and help people buy phones as much or as little as you want to. And there's no fee to be an influencer. Just be a paying customer. That's all that's required. It's really as simple as that. Also, there's none of this wait until Friday or the next Friday to get paid. You get paid instantly. And when you get paid in what are called clear credits that can instantly be transferred into any fiat or cryptocurrency you want in seconds through the ClearPay app, which is that crypto/digital wallet that is integrated into the phone. You'll also receive an international debit card from ClearUnited when you apply for Clear Visa that is tied to your crypto wallet that you can spend any way you want from around the world. If you all understand the insane power of what I just said, that is beyond wild and is providing a ton of financial value that no other affiliate marketing offer has ever provided to date. And so the question now remains, how do I buy a ClearPhone, Alex? Well, before we dive into that, there's a very important point that we need to stress to you first. Before you buy, it's critically important that you get back to the person that shared this information with you and obtain their referral link. From there, to get your ClearPhone and get started, all you need to do is open up that link in your browser, choose the model you wish to purchase, pick your purchase option, whether you want to set up monthly payments or buy for it outright, to buy it completely, and boom, your phone will be shipped to you without asking for any unnecessary information about you, your family, or anyone else that will be using the account. These phones are designed with you in mind from the ground up in every way, to provide you with security, privacy, financial freedom, if you so choose, and most importantly, peace of mind. This is the smartphone for the smart person. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, in closing, we wish to express our deepest, most heartfelt appreciation and gratitude once more to each and every one of you that have set aside the time to tune in and pay close attention to this presentation. This here is the 21st century revolution we all have been waiting for the problems that we see today, and the greatest opportunity to reclaim even more of our sovereignty, liberty, and privacy of our time. The company right now is absolutely exploding with crazy momentum. And the wildest part is, this party is just getting started. So get back to the person that shared this information with you as soon as possible to get started and help us proactively make this world a better and safer place, one ClearPhone at a time. We'll leave you now with a message from Michael Proper, the founder and chairman of ClearUnited, and we look forward to talking with you again soon. Welcome to ClearUnited, and God bless you all.
We literally have become products of the digital conglomerate systems that are out there, and it's time for that to change. We're proud to announce ClearOS, the flagship operating system that we've been building that's deployed in over 540,000 deployments around the world. Top 3 manufacturers that have solid relationships with ClearCenter. It's not just going to be for the server, network, and gateway world, but it will actually connect with ClearOS Mobile for the mobile world. So imagine securing a backend and then also having a device that can go out in the world, but it still has some of those same private functions and features that you're all used to, at least those that have used ClearOS in the past. We believe that connecting up ClearOS Mobile at the customer's world, so the combination of who they are with something they have, with a process in which you use an operating system to independently allow the individual freedom and choice. You take the individual, you give them their data back, and then you give them their life back. So step 1, step 2, step 3, you'll find over the years that there's a lot of logic in some of the things that the teams all around the Clear companies have been focused on building, and we're grateful for the many folks, the hundreds of thousands of folks that have been involved in the Clear Foundation since 2009, the 90 to 100 folks that have literally worked with ClearCenter from all around the world, from Greece to Austria to New Zealand to Canada to India. And we're grateful for you to literally join us. Grab a phone, provide your insights over the years around your feelings, your feedback, but ultimately use it and gain your own privacy, gain your own life back.